How's Green FPS? This is my M9 commercial. Like I said, I wasn't going to replace the metal parts here. I was going to see how the plastic ones are going to go, but it bothered me so much. So today we're going to replace all these plastic parts and make this into as close as we can to the military M9 pistol. All these plastic parts the military does not use, and we're replacing them with Beretta made parts. I even got that angle to the hex handguard hole screws. I got these screws, the flathead screws. This is the type the military uses. I got it down to the T there. I got this on eBay. Oh yeah, in case you guys are wondering, there's the numbers for the military screws with the little, I don't know, description, and it has EUO0017. I don't know what all that means, but from Beretta. Then I got the metal parts kit. It comes with all these cool parts. Right here. It said from Beretta, and there's all the information. And then this part, this is a metal lanyard holder. This one's plastic in here. I got this as well. You'll also need this, but I bought this from eBay. So it's a lot better than the plastic one, I know that much. So we got our parts. Let's start by making sure that the gun is unloaded, magazine's cleared, chamber is empty, everything's good to go. All the tools you'll need for the install. You'll need a small light hammer, some tweezers, 2 punches. One's a small punch, one's a 1/16, and another one's a 3/32. And I like to use a flathead screwdriver. It does help the flat end installing certain things. And the pistol as well, and the parts. This is the easiest part. Take those off with the hex. And actually just leave them off with the hex. We're not going to install screws yet because we're still going to need to take off the handguards. So we'll set aside the panels on both sides. Set them aside. Alright, so now let's take the slide off. If you guys want to disassemble it, press this button. It's not really a walkthrough or tutorial. You press that, pull it down. Take the slide off like normal. Let's set aside our frame. We'll come back to that later. So now, disassemble this. And here's what we came for. This is the plastic polymer guide rod. Simply just, once I'll reinstall it so in case you guys can see, just pull it out, and then you know how to make a baby, you know how to do this. Take the rod and shove it right in the hole. There we go. So there you go. That replaces the plastic. We'll set this aside. We'll also set the plastic one aside. I'll put that aside for further installation. And then that's done. What we got left is, get them all out. The safety, which I heard is a pain in the ass. The magazine release. Is that metal? Oh, it is metal. Good. Just making sure. It looked plastic for a second. So the magazine release and the metal trigger. So I think what we'll go for first is the magazine release. Simply push on the opposite side. From what I've seen, you push on the opposite side, and it just pops out. And also, when you do that, make sure the edges are sharp here. I kind of shoved my finger right in there, and it is kind of sharp, so be careful of that. But it's okay, it's just a flesh wound. I don't think it penetrated the skin. This one already came with it already installed. So I'll set this aside and I'll install that later. But yeah, so this already comes with it. So just simply put it back in. Make sure that the bullet, not the bullet button, stupid California laws, the magazine release button is on the other side. Now when installing the magazine button, you got to kind of put it in an angle like that and then push down and slide it in like that, and then it'll be in place. It's a little tricky to do, but it's not too bad. Not the hardest thing yet. Alright, and now we'll take out the plunger. This is under spring tension, so we'll take our punch, take our hammer, easily tap that out. Don't tap it out all the way, because like I said, spring tension. Put your thumb there, hold on to this, and by the way, this is the lanyard. Kind of wiggle it out. Alright, now it's popped out. Keep your thumb on it, and it's really heavy, and then let go. Like that. Oh. Since you don't have to remove the spring, just pull the plastic one out and put the metal one by pushing down on the spring, and then push in the retainer pin. Line up the holes and use this. Use your gravity to hold it in. Press down on the tabletop, look down, find the hole, make sure it's aligned first. It'll shift on you. And install it like so. And there we go, there's that. So we got the lanyard installed. And now, we're gonna take out the trigger. You gotta take out the slide release, push this up, and then you start pulling it, wiggle it out, like that, up and down, up and down. Probably should be wearing iPro with this, with anything to do with springs, because what can go wrong will go wrong. But I'm playing it dangerous, I guess. So there's a little spring in there. I'm taking the flathead and kind of. There we go. So there's a spring in there. Looks like this. Set that aside, don't lose it. And there's the, yes, that is metal. The metal, I just tested it with my teeth, clamped against my teeth. Probably not the best idea, but, oh, there's a magazine release. We'll set that aside. I don't think it matters, but we're gonna do it this way. So that's where the trigger spring is. Take that out. And I like to put my hand over it like that just in case, because there are springs, and I just felt it hit my hand. So there you go. We released the pin. We'll tip it upside down. Where's the pin? Yeah, don't lose your parts. I guess it does matter which way you push it out, because the fat end on that end, and there's normal detent that, so the skinniest end. But alright, so we'll flip it over. Got another spring that looks like this. Keep this to the in front of you, so that way you know it goes to the trigger, so you don't mess it up. So then there's another spring here. There's a little trick to this. You just got to remove it. I use this to help me a lot. But I take this end, push down on the spring here, and there goes the spring. Carefully, don't lose the springs. I almost lost the spring. Now that spring looks like that. So set that aside. Disconnect this. I believe that's all that needs to be done. I'm just using this to assist me because I don't have any fingernails. And just gently remove it. And then we take off the bar. And now we can remove the trigger. Pull it straight up and out. And that's the plastic trigger. Actually, I think I was right. Almost like a metal plastic combo trigger. See how they're always kind of metal on there, but that looks like shit. So we'll set that aside and we'll install the metal trigger. So we drop the trigger back down in with the spring. Now that we get the trigger spring installed, it'll still be floppy because there's no tension. You're gonna have to put the slide release on as well. And there's a trick to this. A simple way to install your slide release, make sure you hold this spring here, make sure the spring stays there, have it on this, and then hook it in and then pull up. So like so, you found the little hole, just like the other one, put it in the hole, bring it up, kind of just work your way in, and there we go. It's in. That's the slide release. There. So that's a little pain in the ass, but we got the spring over that. So now there's some spring tension making this slide backwards, but we still have to install this spring. Now this spring was underneath here. Same thing with installing the other spring. There's a little hole here. Insert this little like pickaxe looking thing into that hole and simply roll it up. Ooh, no, not that much underneath. Don't do that. Pushed in a little too far. So alright, so put it in the hole, and this little detent up there. You get it like that, towards like that, and you simply slowly push it up. There's a little slot in here. You gotta put this little round piece in. It'll click right in. Right there. There we go. So now, that's good. Everything is in place. Alright, so we got that installed. Alright, so we removed this by taking out the two detents. I forgot to add this flip like this. Took out the two detents, bashed them out, and they fell out. And there's these little things. Don't lose these. Sorry I didn't tape it, but pretty much I went in there. That's where the safety is. See those two visible holes? Just punch those pins, roll pins out with this is a Starrett 1/16 1.5 millimeter punch. So we're removing the firing pin. So we're removing the firing pin block, which is this block right here. Simply, you need to take out this roll pin as well, and simply right through the bag. So I should have done this with all the detents, so that way you don't lose them. But it's just added security, so you won't lose anything. And we tip it up, shake it around, and make sure we don't lose nothing. You should have a spring, the fire pin block, and that detent. Where'd the detent go? Oh, it's still on the side. So we'll set these aside, and you get that detent as well to get out of here. So now we got this, and what we're gonna do is flip it off, safe, put it on fire, and you're gonna have to take a punch or something to put pressure on this, but simply press on the firing pin. You can see it rotated up just slightly, that much. Now that that's done, now this is really where you need the bag the most, because this is where things get a little hairy. So put it in the safety bag, the Ziploc bag, almost call it a safety bag. It pretty much is, so you don't lose all the springs and detents, so on and so forth. And I like to zip it up just for extra security. And simply push on this side out, and it goes, shoots everywhere. Alright, so there we go. That's, yeah, there's just the detent stuff. I might just leave it right like that. Alright, so there's another spring, a detent, that must be from the other side, and the safety itself. So I'll take that out, and then you know, we'll just leave that where it's at, because we're gonna have to install it anyway. And then there's another detent spring right there. And make sure you remove the pin that strikes the safety, that strikes the firing pin. Looks like a little mushroom. Remove that from there. And then we got our metal one. You'd insert the mushroom into the fattest end, and that's where that one goes. So this one didn't come with the detents installed, so we're gonna have to pull this out. So on the right side, safety lever, don't lose it. Now, kind of set your safety in there, get it started, and then put the mushroom, see where the little hole is, put the mushroom looking thing in that hole. So then Don't forget your detents. We got one on this side with a spring, and that detent as well with a spring. So we got it in halfway. Push down on that detent, push down on this detent. Alright, there we go. So yeah, the flathead screwdriver didn't work too bad. So there we go. Detents on both sides. That side already popped in, so that's good. Very positive safety. And as you can see, that mushroom thing in the back comes back, so you can hit the firing pin. So that's good. Check everything. Sure there's tension on that. Spring tension there. Alright. So that's good to go. Get the safety installed. Now we need to put the right side on as well. So you simply slide it in there. The right side safety. Line up the holes and put the detents back in. Those little teeny detents that you're probably going to lose, and where are mine? Tell you guys don't lose them, and then I have no idea where the hell they are. Oh shit. Simply install those. I don't know where the hell my detents went. Where did I put them? Now we can't not forget to install this as well. So we'll set the spring. You guys really can't see it all. We set the spring in there, and we're just going to insert it. Spring in there. And then we'll simply slide this in there on top of it. And then either way I believe will work, but we're going to do it this way. Seat it in there. Where's my hammer? Where's my hammer? Oh, there it is. Take the hammer on the plastic. Well, actually I'm taking the brass side, get it started. Now I'm taking the plastic side. Get that. Check that it has spring tension on it. Just make sure that everything's working. Yes, it's working. The plastic side. Now we'll use the, I recommend a brass punch for this, but I'm going to do this. Make sure it's seated in there pretty evenly. And give it a couple more whacks. There you go, that's good to go. Good to go. And now that was the whole process. Let's see if I'm speaking too soon. That was the whole process right there. Actually, I am speaking too soon. We almost forgot to install the right side safety. So you take that, line up the holes, take the detents. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to use these. Take the two detents on the right side safety. So we put the, no, not detents, the roll pins. Install one at a time so you don't lose them. So there, I get this one. Install it nice and flush. Do this one as well. What would be better is for these is probably a needle nose pliers so that don't happen. I was just going to say that. Be careful you don't lose it. Because they can slip off very easily with pliers. There you go. Set it in there. Nice and flush. So now we get the right side safety as well. So now we assemble the pistol back up again. We put the put the barrel, push it up through, slide it back. Take the metal guide rod with the metal guide rod spring. Then we replace that crappy plastic one. Push it up, make sure it's seated correctly, nice and firmly, it's on there. Take your pistol frame, lower, simply slide it on. And then flip it up. Then we'll do a functions test. It's unsafe, nothing. That's on fire. Hold the trigger reset. Hear that click? It's good. And then we'll do half cock notch. Good. And then safe again. It is safe. Nothing wrong with it. Eject magazine. All is well. So yeah, that's my full install the metal parts kit on the M9 Beretta. And this is the closest you can get to a military M9. So now that it's all done, all the metal parts, we did a functions check, everything's good. Here are the plastic parts, or plastic junk, that we removed from the Beretta M9. I now consider it an M9 now that we got all this junk out of it. So yeah, that's a lot of parts in there. So that concludes my video. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and have a nice day.